This is all about building your own biology. What does it mean to build your own biology, and why do you need to? Perhaps you don't feel too well, or perhaps you are generally registering a deterioration in your body. These are things that we worry about. But there's a much bigger reason about why we should be concerned to build our biology. You know what it is? Because you're meant to do it every single day, quite naturally and consciously. And somewhere along the line, we lost that ability. But quite amazingly, just recently, in the last few years, this natural response in our biointelligence has started to come back. We live in amazing times. This planet is going through an incredible change which originates in nature. It is nothing to do with humans. It's actually a kind of superordinary timing which is coded into this period of history, because humans were meant to start developing more again and to start waking up during these particular historical times. What's happened is that the body of the Earth is starting to change its frequency, which means that human beings are changing their frequency as well. And natural mechanisms, which have been sleeping for quite a long time, have now started to switch on again in a big, big way. It used to be the case in the past that we quite naturally could hook in and out of a universal current. And by that I mean we were actually connected to it all the time, but we could just switch in and out temporarily to slow down or speed up our vibration. We were always actually connected. We would just go up the gears and down the gears with it. And why would we do this? Well, the way that human beings used to function was that they were so intermeshed with nature, they could actually increase their capacity to draw on all of the natural energies in the environment to do what they wanted with the power of their mind. Not the thinking mind, but what we call the universal mind, which is a type of superordinary intelligence on another wavelength. It's not really even telepathy, because telepathy as we experience today is more like a kind of hooking in to a message that's coming over a distance from another place. This is slightly different. All humans were very consciously aware of being connected all the time, and what they used to do was lightly use a command inside them that was a part of their biology to increase their reception so that they could hear more from everywhere within them. And the message actually came up inside rather than seeming to emerge from a distance and then coming towards them. Now, when we operate this way, we can heal ourselves more easily than, for example, if we just rely on external substances. It's great to have those things externally, and we have a whole thing called science and medicine in this reality to assist us as well. There's nothing wrong with that, until, of course, you find that maybe you can't afford the treatments, or you find that the waiting list is so long that you can't get the help that you need. Meanwhile, we're lucky enough to live in times where our reception on the inside, because of our biology and our capacity to receive a receptive signal, is going up. So why not benefit from that as well? Then any external system that you might be using will be even more super potent, because anywhere it doesn't work for you, you will readjust, and then it will be even more effective. And who knows, as you go along, maybe you won't need the external quite so much anymore. And when you do, it will work quicker, better, and be under your own control. Building our biology is all about having the capacity for that receptivity, for being able to receive that signal that's already inside us coming through our source connection. Human beings have become quite weak, disconnected from nature, and they are very preoccupied with a lot of mental tasks and their emotions. We're moving back towards a type of way of being where not only can we disconnect more easily from those external stimuli when they get too loud, but we can even coexist with them and not be so affected by them. We don't even have to self-censor anymore because our main wavelength, that receptivity in our own biology, is getting more and more strong. So what we can do alongside that signal naturally getting stronger in these times is give ourselves the best chance to really hook on to that signal already happening inside us and to develop our structure, biology, to actually receive it even more efficiently over time. This is what we call reawaken. When we awaken again to our potential in these new times, we bring in that signal from nature and via our source connection. And then this touch of that signal starts to grow our biology in a new high frequency way. Our capacity builds to receive the signal even more. And then before we even know it, we develop a new structure internally for this signal to such an extent it flips over into a whole new type of human design. The design of the human is partially brought about by yourself, and it's also brought about by nature. And then you have the design of your biology that you received when you were born. I call that the image, but most people call that birth, and the opposite is death. But there's a much greater designing process going on now, which is possible, which can be authored by yourself. Because a little bit like riding a bicycle or riding a horse, once you really master how to move with the animal and you start to gallop, you can even start readjusting the type of saddle you have, designing new boots and shoes to fit in the stirrups in the way that you want them to. You even change part of your bicycle to become more seamlessly efficient and grooved with the way that your body works when it sits on the vehicle. We're able to do that in these times. And then we switch into a place in ourselves which naturally knows how to heal our physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies. We have self-healing ability. It's been there all the time. We've dipped in and out of it quite a lot in the period up to the last 5 or 10 years. But now we live in times where we are actually wholly functioning in that zone if we choose to synchronize it. So we can reawaken to that synchronization and the ability to do that, which is simply about being still and not changing anything. When we get used to riding with all the different inputs around us on a bicycle, the wind, the condition of the road, maybe even some of our clothing that's flapping a bit in the wind that we didn't think of, that perhaps we should have decided to wear something different, we can factor in all these different coefficients and we can still ride that bicycle really, really incredibly in exactly the way we want to. That's what self-healing ability is about, because we start to register our entire field so that when we come into the full capacity of our being, we not only direct the energy that is working through us, we begin to dream about a higher specification of our own being and our own experience. We dream of feeling lighter. We dream of going faster, maybe of having a more muscular way of dealing with life, which is more powerful, but also has an aesthetic and a light touch. Any other words we might use would just say that's the joy of being, but that's a very sophisticated setup. It's a very delicate confluence of all sorts of inputs from our body and our source connection and our natural environment. And then it's us expanding through all of that into a much higher vision of our own selves. And when we operate on that frequency, then that energy rebuilds our biology to structure the recreation of our body and our reality, and we go past our health issues. It's an incredible thing. And we are all able to do this. It's just that we've forgotten. So let's just settle into this natural way of being, which, strangely enough, it sounds like a set of instructions because we're so used to operating in a way that is out of that natural way of being. But actually, all it is not buying into any instructions and just literally being exactly as you are in the moment and no need to change anything. Are you ready?